Now reach one of the most beautiful Lion King fan arts. I haven't seen any other art that shows Sarabi's greatness as a character like this. If anyone asked me what makes Sarabi a great character, I would show this art as an answer. Sarabi is easily one of the most powerful characters Disney has ever created, and yet they never used her. Mentally powerful, obviously, not strength wise. One day I will do a ranking of Lion King characters, and be sure that when that day comes, Sarabi would easily make it to the top 5. She should be number 1, but my bias would put a few characters above her. Why do I say it? Because among all the Lion King characters, she had been under the most pressure, and yet she never became evil. She lost her husband, she lost her son, she lost her title as the queen, she almost lost everything, and had to live under the rule of a monster. Despite being broken inside, she still walks like a queen and doesn't show vulnerability. She will stay strong for her friends, for her people. Scar and Zira might be the king and queen in name, but in reality Sarabi was the one and only Lion Queen. She was the one that protected the rest from the madness of Scar and his hyenas. Despite needing help the most, she is the one that helped everyone else. She had no time to mourn. She had to wear this mask on indifference so that the other lionesses would stay strong, and this makes Sarabi one of the best Lion King characters and one of Disney's most underrated heroes. I love that this art exists to show all my thoughts about Sarabi in one single panel. But this is only one art among the many fan arts, fan comics and fan fictions of this DeviantArt account. The DeviantArt page of the user Devinital-TLK is home to one of the most well realized fan made worlds of the Lion King. There's so much lore and so much detail. Many detailed maps and informations about the entirety of the Lion King universe. There is this comic called Crystal Caverns that show the creation of the Lion King world. Here the god is a fiery lion. He lives with his mate and children in the sky among the endless stars. His tail so long it reaches the mortal world. One day his mate wonders just how long his tail is, and while following it with her eyes, she sees the mortal world and gets saddened by how empty it is. And the rest also realize it for the first time how ugly the world below is. So they start painting it to make it worthy of their gaze. The creation of this world is the result of a family drawing a beautiful painting together. When they are done creating the world, the children still feel something is missing. The parents realize they need subjects to fill this world with. So the parents create the different animals and will give them to the children. But they kept the best ones for themselves, the felines, who look like the gods the most. Especially the favorite of the bunch, lions, who are destined to rule in the animal world. The children would create many copies of each animal. Each would choose a few species and chose where they should be and would rule over them. All that is left is their souls. So the Great Spirit and his mate would go back to the heaven to create the souls from the stars. But before they do, they take a look at what they have created. And it's so beautiful, the Great Spirit's mate bursts into tears of joy. And those tears would reach the tail of the Great Spirit, which would create the clouds, and like that the world would be created. For a while the Great Spirit and his mate would stay at the heavens, enjoying each other's embrace while their children ruled over the mortals. But the mortals would soon grow so much that they can't manage it anymore. So the Great Spirit and his mate should come to hell. He would travel through the sky to collect good souls and deliver them to heaven. Meanwhile his mate would go to the underworld to judge the souls. It is heartbreaking for her, but she would do it. She would take out her eyes and shatter it to countless pieces and spread it around the underworld so that she could see everywhere. She would burst into tears knowing all she has now is the fire in her tail gifted by her love. Her tears and the fire would create lava and smoke, which slowly turned her white fur into a dark one. The eruptions of the volcanoes being her anguish. She would take the good souls to her beloved and would take bad souls to their eternal torture, unless they become honest with her and admit their sins, and only if they genuinely regret their sins they will be given a second trial. Some parts of her eyes ended up in the surface of earth, and looking at them would instantly teleport you to her, and you will be judged like the dead. The sunset happens when she and the Great Spirit are reunited, and the sunrise happens when they say their goodbye to do their tasks. In the comic The Lost Days, we realized that Kiara and Kofu had been secretly meeting for a while. In the story Zira's Demise, we see that Zira was with Scar when he was dying. Zira will pretend to be harmless so that she would live in the Pride Lands and will stab them in the back when time calls for it. Her plan doesn't completely work. She will get Serafina killed. Nala was carrying Kiara and Kayan in her belly, and Kayan will die as a result. Zira and her followers will be banished after that. There is the Ask TLK series in which characters will answer questions of the viewers. All of them are funny except for one. Here Nuka has a mate named Hasina who is basically the only person who always cared for him, and she will give birth to their daughter after Nuka's death, which also happens after the death of Hasina's mother, who despite being a good person was a loyal follower of Scar and Zira. Poor girl went through so much stuff, and Nuka's spirit is always next to her. There are many what if stories. Stories like the lionesses killing Scar, and amnesiac Zira reaching redemption, Kiara getting killed by Zira and Kovu being imprisoned by the Pride Landers for it, Zira kidnapping Kiara and turning her into a monster, AUs of fan comics of other artists, and more. In one story, Kiara and Kovu don't reach the final battle soon. Simba, Nala and Zira will die as a result. Vitani becomes the next queen. Now that she has lost everything, she will become cold-hearted, and as a result, she will be remembered as the cold queen. She would still see other animals as food, but unlike Scar, she will be a competent leader. In another story, after Kovu's betrayal, the Outlanders basically become cult members. They will grow an army and become much more dangerous. Now that Nuka gets attention from his mother, he becomes evil and more psychotic under her influence, Hasina leaving him as a result. There is a big fanfiction series that I still haven't read through all of it, but my favorite fanfiction of this artist is another AU in which Pride Landers will instantly kill the ones royal to Scar, and the remaining Outlanders and the Cubs will live under the pressure of Pride Landers. Nuka will grow up to be a big lion. He will serve Simba and will be a good brother to Kovu and Vitani. After a while, they want to leave Pride Lands with Kiara. Simba wants to agree, but Kayan, the future king, will start fight with Nuka because the Pride Landers have filled his head with many lies about Outlanders. During the fight, Simba realizes what a monster he had been. Kayan will accidentally kill Simba but will frame Nuka for it. The Outlanders will run away with Kiara. Kayan and Nala will become mad and get themselves killed during the wars they waged. The Outlanders will wait for Pride Landers to attack, but after a while only Sarabi and Serafina, two of the few Pride Landers that treated them well, will show up. Kayan made so many enemies in order to gain power and kill the Outlanders, and now Pride Landers is at the hands of their enemies. Kiara's grandmothers will be with her in their final days. The Outlanders will slowly grow and become a peaceful kingdom. There are many more big and small stories on this page, and you should read them for yourself if you are interested. The things Devinital-TLK has done for the Lion King fanbase is really admirable.